And here's a quick note on Ripple, because that could definitely push XRP. Yeah, whether this is the most impressive use case, we'll just leave that open for now. And it should also be kept in mind, we're talking about a narrative that feels like it's back in hype mode again. Congratulations. Yeah, you managed to click on this video without labeling a thumbnail as clickbait beforehand. I want to prove exactly that here, why it isn't. Why could it be that ONDO is really taking off right now? But let's rewind a bit. What is ONDO anyway, and why is everyone talking about it right now? So should you buy now or not? And I would say let's just dive right in. We'll see each other after the intro. But first, a big thank you to you. Yesterday alone, there were over 3,100 views and about 60 or 70 new community members joined us. So a warm welcome to all the newcomers and the likes in relation. Absolutely wild. So I'm curious who's going to pull it off today, and if we might even top it, because a like is completely free for you. So feel free to hit that button. That's an incredible appreciation for me, for my work, and it really gives this video an extra boost. Of course, you're also welcome to leave a comment, and anyone who hasn't subscribed yet is, and maybe now this, you're seeing the first video if you're looking for a channel that presents objective facts without the hype. The most important news is delivered daily, so feel free to leave a subscription for free and activate the bell. Then you won't miss any important information. And now let's get started. Now, of course, the big question arises, first of all, why has no one really talked about ONDO Finance before? And now it's being featured in the mainstream media. We're talking about tokenization, specifically real-world assets, and BlackRock has really kicked things off in that area. Right now in January at the World Economic Forum, Larry Fink was there, and he really stirred the promotional drum a bit. Basically, the fact is that there has already been a collaboration with BlackRock, but also with other leading players, which could lead to that such projects are definitely being pushed. So we should really take a look at this by now. Where are the institutions represented? Where do the institutions provide added value? And from that, one can draw relatively realistic conclusions. Does that have potential? Well, yes, it's also written down here below. We're excited that BlackRock is introducing BUDL. Well, that could almost sound Austrian. Introducing the tokenization of securities. In particular, we are pleased about the broad collaboration among various participants in the industry. We're excited, but now let's move on directly, because there are still much crazier news. But what is ONDO Finance anyway? You can see that summarized quite well here. ONDO Finance enables the tokenization of traditional financial products. That's also the main point. Why Larry Fink became so active there. He officially made the call to the SEC at the WEF and said, hey, the tokenization for stocks and bonds is supposed to be released. I'll get to that shortly. That it's also very realistic that the approval will come soon. ONDO Finance now offers two main products here. You can also read that here. So on one hand, a tokenized yield-bearing stablecoin that is backed by short-term US Treasury bonds. And again, another product that offers qualified investors. It offers immediate liquidity and exposure to US Treasury bonds. So far, so good. But now you're going to ask yourself, Daniel, what's the token for? So we're talking about a governance token for the ONDO DAO. So that means you can vote on protocol changes or smart contracts with it, depending, of course, on the ratio. How many tokens you hold? Yeah. Whether that's the most impressive use case, we'll just leave that open for now. But we can also question a lot of AI tokens there. I have one more minor criticism. As for the tokenomics, because the market cap is nice so far, I personally find it impressive with the partners they have in the background. There's definitely a lot more possible there. So I personally see this project somewhere in the top 10 at least, if it really takes off. It just takes time. Tokenization is always long-term. However, if we take a look at this, fully diluted, the market cap is completely diluted. Because here we have the total supply and we have the current circulating supply. Now, one should also keep that in mind. Yeah, how are the tokens distributed? To what extent? Because that definitely dilutes the whole thing. Just a quick note on the history of tokenization. So you always got to see the whole thing a bit like that. Sometimes the hype was more, sometimes it was less. But what's definitely interesting is The institutions have also been active since 2022. And it just kept growing like that. Now, of course, the clear statement, okay, in 2025, everyone will be active in it. However, one must not forget BlackRock. There are already speculations that they are working on their own blockchain. We also have to be aware of that. We're talking about a narrative that feels very current right now. Again, totally in the hype. Everyone who wants to invest early in the projects and then take the maximum profit, the best time to invest was yesterday. Today, you're a millionaire. That just doesn't work like that. ONDO, you could have invested in that as early as mid last year. You definitely would have had much cheaper prices. The problem is back then, no one was really interested in it because tokenization felt like, yeah, it's just going to happen sometime, somehow, maybe. So just a small example, just on the side, there are many types of tokenization. Here we're talking about Evercraft, for example, from a company that invests in sustainable technologies and tokenizes the entire company. Exactly the same game. There was quite a big hype, but now it has calmed down a lot. But the team also explained back then that there are partnerships in progress. Sure, sustainability is a huge topic. So I don't want to go on too much. I was one of the first YouTubers who reported on it, had already been to countless events. If you're interested in what the current status is, this is not investment advice. Feel free to click here. But there are also other reasons for ONDO Finance. And you can see that here, for example, so I've shown this a few times before. I've already written a post about this. By the way, if you're not following me on X yet, feel free to catch up. The link is down in the description. Definitely with ONDO, we see the intersection of made in the USA. Not uninteresting. And on the other hand, world, liberty, finance, but there are even more intersections. I'll get to that in a moment. But we shouldn't forget here, while Trump is involved in that, he could push the whole thing even further. Also, this made in USA topic, I'm just saying no capital gains tax, is of course also not uninteresting. If we take a look at the list here and scroll down a bit, and we don't even have to scroll down that far, ONDO is already in the top 30 right now. So let's wait and see. But as I said, for me personally, without giving anything away, I can easily imagine that such a project could also slip into the top 10. And for that, the market cap is still quite low. But it continues here because we have the Trump's crypto relationship map here again. And what do we see there? On one hand, we have Securitize, which is working with MIT, and ONDO is collaborating because ONDO is basically the platform, and Paul Atkins is involved in that as well. Who will be the new chair of the SEC? Exciting. So that could already be an indication. So a legalization, let's call it that now, of tokenization of stocks, bonds, etc., could take the form of ONDO. It could definitely become realistic. You can really tell that this ONDO ecosystem is growing more and more. So take a look at this. I'll get to the point of why there could really be a final kickstarting now. However, here you have a post from February 3rd. A post. There is now ONDO Nexus. Now, please check out the partners. So we're talking about the possibility, for example, that you can access liquid assets 24/7. That doesn't exist in the traditional financial world. And a bridge is completely built there between blockchain and the traditional financial world. And now ask yourselves if there are partners like BlackRock, WisdomTree, and Franklin Templeton. They're involved because they can smell money. Otherwise, they obviously wouldn't be in the game. How interesting is this going to be for those folks to keep pushing the whole topic further? And above all, making it more and more present, but it goes much further. Report from the 4th February, so from Tuesday, there is now ONDO Global Markets. And to explain it to you very briefly, in the end, we're talking about what stable coins have done for the US dollar. That's what ONDO Global Markets will do for securities. Incredibly exciting. So we're talking about an on-chain access to US securities like stocks, exchange-traded funds, bonds, and so on. So it's an incredibly exciting topic. But you can also just click through the website here. So if you take a look at this, whether it's other blockchains or the biggest asset managers or even Ripple, which I'll get to in a moment, you can already see that a lot is happening here. So here too, you see, Securitize, we just talked about that. BlackRock, big names, Franklin Templeton, so that's no secret. More that the biggest players are involved here. And now we come to something significantly exciting because the ONDO Summit is taking place today. And here you can also feel free to check out the website. So we're talking about Wall Street 2.0, and that's not an exaggeration. So if you take a look here, what industry is involved here, but also what's happening here. So we're talking about BlackRock, Fidelity. We're clearly talking about ONDO Finance. That makes sense. We see more speakers here. That should be the case here too. Ripple is also involved, and you can only see them at see more speakers. So guys, this is really wild. What's going on here? And what's happening at this summit? It should also be streamed on X. Feel free to check out what's going on there. Uniswap is involved and so on. So let's wait and see what news is coming, and how this whole thing is really being pushed. And here's a quick note about Ripple, because this could definitely push XRP. We're talking about ONDO Finance officially having a partnership. I recently shared that here too. You see it here specifically with Ripple, or rather with the Ripple ledger, if you will. That means ONDO Finance is bringing US Treasury bonds to the XRP or ledger, and that is in turn another use case. So don't underestimate what that could ultimately mean for movement on the ledger, which is why you also need XRP. Again, and now a quick note on the profit forecasts. So what's inside there? Yeah, the price rally has slowed down a bit. This is from the status yesterday and has slowed down. The big question is it really that bad right now? Or can you maybe still buy one or two tokens relatively cheaply? So of course, ONDO also took the correction of the tariffs into account. So you probably could have taken even more with you. I'm currently also doing dollar cost averaging with these kinds of topics, because you never know whether there will be another drop now where you might be able to get some of the tokens at a lower price. So just as an idea. But if you take a look at the back here, it's quite impressive. So 2025, I would say, based on everything that's currently in the pipeline, we could also end up with such values. So that would be pretty close. A tripling. And if you then look further into the years, up to 34 projected, well, that would be nice. And those are just pure forecasts. That doesn't have to happen. But it could also turn out completely differently. And now I'm curious about you. Feel free to write in the comments. Are you invested in ONDO? Have you been in the game for a while? What's your opinion on that? And what potential do you see behind it? Otherwise, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like. And in conclusion, I can only give you this tip. Check out this video. If you're interested in how you can get rich in crypto really quickly, no, that's not going to work anyway, right off the bat. However, it's about the trading bots from BingX. And I showed that because the question kept coming up. Yes, how can I set up such a grid bot? I showed it here in detail, and I also started it. My XRP bot is running great in profit. So definitely check out the video. Otherwise, we'll see each other tomorrow in the next video. Until then, all the best. Bye.